What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Mind Something. If you're new here, my name is Jake, and in today's video, we did it. We hit 3,000 subscribers, and we are going to announce the contest winners at the end of the show, so make sure you stay until the end. Also, we've got a new coin that you should probably avoid, and HiveOS has added push notifications. I'm going to show you how to set that up. Also, used GPU eBay prices have been updated for January, and things may surprise you, so stay tuned for that. Also, BTC hits 25,000 and the SEC sues Do Kwon. So before we get into it, do me a favor, hit the like and hit the subscribe if you haven't already. Let's go ahead and take a look at the market. So time of recording right now is about 7:40 p.m. Central Time, February 16th, 2023. Bitcoin is coming in at 23,745. Ethereum at 1,657, XRP at 38 cents, Cardano at 39 cents, Polygon at $1.43, Dogecoin at 8.6 cents, Solana at $22.60, Polkadot at 6.47. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the GPU mineable coins. So we got Dogecoin, we already said that, 8.6 cents. Ethereum Classic at $21.67. Monero, $156. ETHW, $3.82. Ravencoin at 3 cents. Conflux is still on a tear, up 200% for the week at 16.6 cents. Chia at $42.37. Cadena at $1.10. Flux at 82 cents, Caspa at 0.006971, Ergo $1.69, Darrow $4.57, Cortex at 26 cents, Dynex at 0.099, Nexa at 0.00001216. And it's kind of funny how everything else pulls back and then Nexa starts to move up a little bit, which was the opposite of what happened just yesterday. Then we got Neoxa at 0.00009, down about 3% for the day. Lithium sideways pretty much for the last 24 hours at about 9 cents. Radiant is also sideways, sitting at 0.0004997. And Meowcoin is down 11.7% over the last 24 hours. Let's go ahead and take a look at mining pool stats real quick. And before we get into emissions, I just wanted to point out that there's a couple of things that have been added. Now, Bitfish coin, I believe that's probably CPU mineable, just judging by the algorithm being Ghostwriter. Accure also being relisted on the new coins page of mining pool stats. And this is about the 20th time this has happened. I have asked in their Discord because I'm not getting a reply from Mining Pool Stats on Twitter. But why does this coin keep getting relisted as a new coin? It's been out for months. I'd really love to know the answer to that. And then the one I wanted to talk about specifically was Flora. I went ahead and pulled up their Bitcoin Talk page here. And we'll read off a couple of things. So, decentralized proof-of-work consensus, Flora Wallet, a decentralized multi-chain wallet focused on Web3 technology, Flora Browser, a web browser with reward system created for crypto community, Flora Yield Protocol, yield pool that rewards USDT for staking, smart staking, regular and tiered staking system ensuring incentives for hodling, and then the Flora Bridge enables cross-chain transactions between Flora chain and other chains. And does this sound familiar to you? It should, because a lot of the things that I just read off are exactly how Pink Chain was set up. And speaking of Pink Chain, I believe, look, we got one big comment in red right here. Look like a scam, beware. And then someone else commented in here, do not buy this. Let's see, what else? This is a scam, be careful. This is a scam project called Pink Chain. And then they said pointless accusation. Yeah, so I don't know who the team is. I'm going to continue to dive into this, but it's ETH hash algorithm, and based on what I'm seeing so far, I'm not liking what I'm seeing, but I'm going to continue to do my research, and I will let you guys know in some follow-up videos what I find out. And while we're on the subject of new coins, I don't think that we talked about Novo. Novo is one that you may want to take a look at. I haven't really been paying much attention to it. I know it's been out for a month and maybe 2, maybe 3. I haven't really been paying much attention to it because it wasn't profitable, but I do see lots of notifications from their Discord, so I know the community is active, and if you know much about Novo, please leave your comments down below. And let's go ahead and get back to mining pool stats and take a look at emissions for the day. Oh, I gotta zoom out a little bit here so we get the option for emissions. So Caspa is sitting at about 160,000. Conflux is up to 70,000. Monero at 67,000. Ergo at 65,000. We got Flux up a little bit from yesterday, currently sitting at 37,000. And then we've got Dynex down to 17,000 and Cortex at 12,000. Curious if Radiant is on here. Okay, so Radiant's down to 6,000 a day, and I believe it was sitting somewhere around 12,000 previously. So Neoxa also on here at about 7,000. Let's see what else we got. Beam sitting at about 2,500. Chlor a little over 2,000 a day. So yeah, not a whole lot of emissions out of the GPU mineable coins, but there are definitely some changes happening right now, and of course it's very important to keep up with those things. And let's go ahead and take a look at profitability. Now, profitability has been switching like crazy. Now, typically the top 5 that you're going to see are pretty consistent at the top on a 3070. And we'll go ahead and go through profitability on a 3070 at 10 cents per kilowatt hour. But I want to back up and look at all GPUs, because depending on which GPU you have or which GPUs you have the most of may really determine on what the best coin for you to mine is. So right now on top is Conflux at 10 cents per day at 10 cents per kilowatt hour. And then we've got Ergo and Caspa at 8 cents, Nexa at 6 cents, Dynex at 2 cents, Caspa at 1 cent, Radiant at break even, Cortex at break even, Lithium negative 1 cent, Nice Hash, Ergo negative 1 cent, Nice Hash on Caspa negative 1 cent, Ergo negative 2 cents, ETH POW and Lithium negative 2 cents, Neoxa negative 3 cents, Ravencoin negative 3 cents, ETH Classic and Lithium negative 3 cents. Proof of Memes has moved up from the bottom, currently sitting at negative 6 cents. Then we've got Beam at negative 7 cents, Expand also negative 7 cents, Grin negative 9 cents, and Flux at negative 11 cents. And let's go ahead and take a look at ASIC miner profitability. And by the way, I'm going to switch to mine the ASIC after yesterday's video having API issues with the previous website that we were using. I think I'm just going to get away from using that. And also, I've heard a couple of other YouTubers such as Red Panda Mining and Chump Change using Mine the ASIC. So we're going to try this out and see how it goes. Right now, the Antminer K7 on top at $22.40 a day. Let's see, we got the KA3 in third place at $18.58 a day. The L7 at $15.35. iPolo G1 at $11.17 a day. The D9 currently sitting at $14.49. Antminer S9 XP Hybrid at $6.54 a day. Jazzminer X4 at $3.91 a day. It's moved up a little bit. And let's see what else we got here. I'm just going to kind of scroll down so that you guys can see all of them. We'll get into the point where we start to get negative. All right, so let's move on and let's talk about Kadina's hash rate. So it is finally starting to plateau, perhaps. You can see each one of these indicates a day. So yesterday we were at 323 petahash, and today we are at 325. So looks like we're starting to peak out. It's tough to say really where it's going to go. I don't know how many of these ASICs have been shipped, and even the ones that have been shipped, are they still in transit? Are they still waiting to be turned on? I'm sure anybody who gets their hands on it is probably going to plug it in immediately. But let's go ahead and talk about Conflux's difficulty as well, because the price is just skyrocketing, and so is the hash rate. And it's surprising to see that it is the most profitable coin to mine currently on a 3070. But as of yesterday, I think we're at about 5.9, or excuse me, we're at about 4.9, and today we're sitting at 6.3 terahash, which is a lot. And you know what? I think I'm gonna go ahead and make a video on how to mine Conflux, how to set up a wallet, and what kind of overclocks are looking like the best. But I'll probably have that video out maybe this weekend, so stay tuned for that. Also, today was a really good day for solar. It was really cold, but the sun was out all day, no clouds in sight, and this is the best day that I've had in quite some time. I think it was probably October the last time we got up into the 30 kilowatt hours produced per day. So really excited about that. One other heads up, something to be aware of. The ETH devs found a critical bug ahead of a major upgrade. So Ethereum keeps improving ahead of its network upgrade. According to Ethereum's core dev, Tim Bako, this bug can be patched quickly. He also said it's an easy test for developers. In addition, the developers will be adding a Hive test for this case. The goal of the Shanghai testnet is to stress test withdrawals and BLS, a digital signature scheme used to prevent forgery. In Ethereum's testnet, the validators sign and attest blocks to ensure that all of them follow the consensus rules. Using a signature scheme like BLS can help to address this problem. Verifying those on-chain signatures may lead to more issues as the number of validators keeps increasing. Tim Biko stated, the DevNet had 600,000 validators, and 360,000 of them perform withdrawal credentials updates right at the fork. Ethereum is on the verge of the expected Shanghai Capella upgrade, improving its computation transactions and validation of new blocks. Still, most importantly, it will allow validators to withdraw their ETH locked on the Beacon chain, the proof of stake blockchain launched in 2020. So, yeah, it looks like they found a bug, and it looks like it's already been addressed. But, man, can you imagine if there was some major type of vulnerability upon the staking release? That would be very catastrophic, but looks like we dodged a bullet on this one. So let's move on. I just want to highlight some of the major headlines from Cointelegraph. So we've got Bitcoin price derivatives look a bit overheated, but data suggests bears are outnumbered. DeFi platforms can comply with regulations without compromising privacy. Breaking, SEC sues Do Kwon and Terraform Labs for fraud. So we're going to get into that article here in a moment. And then Platypus, DeFi faces flash loan attack according to Certic. Federal judge hints at denying Sam Bankman-Fried any internet access as a condition of his bail. That should have been done from day one. Well, he shouldn't be walking around, period. But giving this guy internet access just seems completely ludicrous to me. Let's go ahead and jump into something we talked about yesterday, and that was FTX bankruptcy judge denies U.S. trustees motion to appoint independent examiner. In yesterday's video, I read that headline and I wanted to look at it more because I'm curious, what's the motive behind denying an independent examiner? Independent examiners are used very often in court cases, sometimes at the behest of the plaintiff, sometimes at the behest of the defendant. It all kind of depends on the circumstances. But in this particular case, I speculated there could be two reasons behind this. One, they didn't want to delay any outcomes or basically have anybody in the way kind of holding back the existing examination of everything. or it could simply be that there is something to hide. However, the article points out something that I didn't take into consideration, so let's go ahead and read this. Judge John Dorsey of the United States Bankruptcy Court for the District of Delaware has denied a motion appointing an independent examiner for FTX. In a February 15th hearing, Judge Dorsey said he had some discretion under the law to choose whether to appoint an examiner in the FTX bankruptcy case despite some of the parties meeting the debt threshold with the loss of funds. According to the judge, appointing an examiner would be an unnecessary burden on FTX debtors and creditors, citing the additional expense. There's no question that if an examiner is appointed here, the cost of the examination, given the scope suggested by the trustee at the hearing, would be in the tens of millions of dollars and would likely exceed $100 million, said Dorsey. Given the facts and circumstances of this highly unique case, I have no doubt that the appointment of an examiner would not be in the best interest of the creditors. Every dollar spent in these cases on administrative expenses is a dollar less to creditors. And I do definitely agree with that, especially considering the amount of money that has already been lost due to lawyer fees. So, I always wear my tinfoil hat. I think it's embedded into my skull. I can't even remove it at this point. So I do still suspect that there may be ulterior motives, but they do bring up a really good point, and I don't want to see anybody's money getting wasted on anything that may be redundant. But let's go ahead and move on to the next article. So, breaking: SEC sues Do Kwon and Terraform Labs for fraud. The United States Securities and Exchange Commission has filed a lawsuit against Terraform Labs and its founder Do Kwon for allegedly orchestrating a multi-billion-dollar crypto asset securities fraud. In a February 16th statement, the SEC said Kwon and Terraform offered and sold an interconnected suite of crypto asset securities, many in unregistered transactions. It pointed to its now collapsed algorithmic stablecoin, Terra Classic USD, and its connected cryptocurrency Terra Luna Classic. The SEC also took issue with M assets, crypto derivatives that mirror the stock price of publicly listed companies, and Terraform's issuance of Mirror, a governance token for the Mirror protocol which lists M assets. In a statement, SEC Chair Gary Gensler alleged Kwon and Terraform failed to provide to the public with full, fair, and truthful disclosure, particularly for USTC and Luna, formerly named Terra Luna, and Terra USD, or UST, and added, "We also allege that they committed fraud by repeating false and misleading statements to build trust before causing devastating losses to investors." The SEC filed its complaint in the U.S. District Court for Southern District of New York with charges relating to violations of the registration and anti-fraud provisions of the Security Act and Exchange Act. So, last sentence here, Gensler commended the SEC staff on their investigation and alleged the defendants attempted to prevent us from obtaining important information about their business. The case demonstrates the lengths to which some crypto firms will go to avoid complying with securities, he added. And here I come with my tinfoil hat again. I'm of the mindset that USDT, or Terra's form of a stablecoin, provided a tremendous amount of risk for everyone involved, but specifically because it was not backed by a US dollar. This was backed by Bitcoin as well as several other things, and it was algorithmic. Now, obviously, it was able to be exploited, but I truly, honestly feel that the collapse of Terra Luna was orchestrated by a select group of people, and most of those being involved from FTX, and with Gary Gensler having what appears to be dealings with FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried prior to the collapse of FTX. Really makes you scratch your head and wonder, but I digress. Let's move on. So I saw this and thought this was pretty interesting. Riots erupt in Nigerian cities as bank policy leads to scarcity of cash. Now, this was kind of a long one. I'm going to go ahead and get through this because there's a couple things that I want to point out here. So rioters have attacked banks, ATMs, and blocked roads in 3 Nigerian cities as anger spilled on the streets over a scarcity of cash, just days before the country's general election. Nigeria has been struggling with a shortage in physical cash since the central bank began to swap old bills and local naira currency for new ones, leading to a shortfall in banknotes. Banks have limited access to cash flow for withdrawals because of a scarcity of the new notes, and some businesses refuse to accept old naira, causing huge queues, angering customers, and disrupting businesses. The unrest in southwestern city of Ibadan and Benin City and Delta State in southern Nigeria came days before Nigeria holds elections on the 25th of February to decide on a successor to the president, Muhammadu Buhari, who will step down after 2 terms. Police in Delta State said unguided youths, miscreants in the name of protest, set 2 banks and 2 vehicles on fire. We have arrested 9 suspects so far. Some persons will still call this protest. State Police spokesperson Bright Adafe wrote on Twitter. The channel's television news station shared on its Twitter account a video of young men burning tires in the streets of the outskirts of the city of Warri in Delta State. In Benin City, protests broke out after police stopped hoodlums, notice how they put that in quotation marks, from attacking the local office of the central bank. According to the Edo State Governor's spokesperson, Crusoe Osaji. The hoodlums then started attacking and vandalizing banks. They also blocked roads and forced businesses to close, he said. But he blamed the unrest on politically motivated actions by the ruling All Progressive Congress, APC, party, taking advantage of discontent to sow chaos in the opposition of People's Democracy Party, the PDP government state. Although the people are dissatisfied with the naira scarcity, the APC capitalized on the discontentment and instigated hoodlums and thugs to cause violence in the city. The APC did not immediately respond, but the APC and PDP have repeatedly traded accusations over the cash shortages during campaigning for the next week's election. There were no immediate reports of deaths or injury Wednesday's unrest. And the reason I wanted to read this entire article was to point out that basically they're passing this off as if there's a bunch of young thugs and hoodlums that have caused this uproar about the situation. But here's the reality of the situation. Let me rewind this here. So a couple of things that I just wanted to point out here. Let's see here. There it is. The challenges primarily include significant hoarding of banknotes by members of the public, with statistics showing that over 85% of currency in circulation are outside the vaults of commercial banks. So really what this was simply their banking system had a shortage of cash, and during political unrest and the change of the guard, decided, you know what, we don't have control of the money anymore, so we're going to get rid of the old money and we're going to create a new money. And they couldn't take in the old money from people, and so therefore there was a bank run essentially. There's no more money left in the bank because there probably wasn't enough money in the bank to begin with, which is the exact same thing how our monetary system works. If you understand how the fractional reserve system works, then you understand that whenever the Fed exchanges paper with the US government, essentially they're both printing paper or transferring ones and zeros, and essentially when the Fed hands money over to a bank, the bank is then allowed to produce 90% more of what they're holding in loans. That's essentially how the fractional reserve system works. So let's say, for example, we'll use a nice round number. The Federal Reserve prints some money. This bank gets $1,000. Now that they have $1,000, they can loan out 90% of that. Let's say you get a $900 loan, and then you go deposit it into your bank, and now that bank can deposit or can loan out 90% of that $900, and so on and so on and so on. Meaning, if everyone were to pay all the money back that's been borrowed, there would be no money. Our system is created on debt, and at some point it's going to run its course, and I think that's what we're seeing the beginning of, which is why you guys are all here, most likely. But anyways, let's move on. So we got some updated numbers from Tom's Hardware on GPU pricing. Now this says February, but I think in reality what we're looking at is data from January. I went ahead and took this data and threw it into a spreadsheet so that it makes a little bit more sense for you. So what we're looking at here is this particular color would be GPU prices on eBay going down more than 10% from December. This particular color would fall in the range between 1 and 10%, and this color is either the price stayed the same or it actually increased. So what do you notice right off the bat here? So first of all, the 40 series cards have basically gone down between 1 and 10%. And then the higher end 30 series cards, such as a 3090 all the way down to a 3070 Ti, they basically stayed between 1 and 10% down. So they've come down somewhere between 1 and 10%. And that makes a lot of sense, right? Because now that we have the 40 series, why would somebody run out and buy a 3090 or a 3080 Ti or even a 3090 Ti when they can get a 4070 Ti for the same performance for less money? And then what you'll notice here is that the cards that we don't have a 4000 series replacement for yet are currently holding their value, but they have in some cases increased. So like a 3060 actually increased by about 1%, and then also a 6950 XT also increased by about 1%. And then the 7900 and XTX and 7900 XT went down drastically. The XT went down 25% since since December. And then the 7900 XTX is down 13.4%. And then moving on to some of the other AMD cards, some that held their value would be the 6700 XT, which I thought was actually kind of surprising. Average price sold on eBay in December was $318, and in January it's $320. And then the 6600 also held its value, went from 184 to 187, and a 6400, which nobody is probably interested in listening to this channel, but went from 138 to 144. Excuse me. So it does look like used prices on eBay overall have come down from December through January, and those that have held their value are basically cards that we don't have a replacement for yet. So yeah, I think Rabid might be right on this one. Maybe we do see quite a bit more downside on GPU pricing. So if you are currently looking to get rid of GPUs, perhaps now is better than later. I don't know. It's tough to say. This information is not what I expected. I did expect things to go back up just slightly, especially The higher end, like 3080, 3080 Ti, 3090. I really thought we had bottomed out sometime at the end of September, October, November, somewhere around there, and had started to tick back up. But I think maybe the data that I was looking at was including mostly new MSRP prices and what they were selling for. So as far as used pricing is concerned, yeah, it does look like we are going down a little bit. So also, wanted to go over the HiveOS change log. There's a couple of changes last couple of days. So MiniZ version 2.0C.3 fixed issue with invalid shares with the previous version. And then we've got a new version of XMRig, and Team Blackminer version 1.87 added support for dual and triple mining ETH proxy pools, improved the Kapow code, less rejects, fixed CL devices with the AMD only flag was set, fixed NVIDIA devices when the NVIDIA only flag was set. And then a couple of days ago, we had one from Team Redminer, added initial support for RDNA 3, 7900 XT GPUs for ETH hash, Autolykos, Caspa, Vert hash, included dual combos. And then we had the previous version of MiniZ and another version of Team Blackminer on the 11th. But speaking of HiveOS, they added a new feature, which is really cool, and I wish I could show you guys directly on my phone, but luckily they posted a video of this on Twitter, and they've enabled push notifications directly from the app. So in this particular little video, the first thing that they're showing you here is you need to make sure that notifications are enabled in your phone's settings, and then we'll get into how to set up your push notifications in the app. So this video goes by really fast. I'm going to pause it at a couple of key intervals. So once they've opened up Hive, essentially you want to select your farm. And then once you have one of your, let's say for instance, if you just have one farm, then you're good, but you'll need to do this for multiple farms if you have more than one. So you're going to go to settings, or excuse me, you're going to go to more, then settings, and you're going to scroll down and you're going to see notifications, and then you want to select mobile. Now you won't see mobile as an option on the web page. You're going to see this specifically in the app, so just a heads up. And then there you go, you're going to see all of these different options to enable so that you get push notifications directly to your phone, which is going to be things like worker offline, worker online, worker booted, error messages, message warnings. You've got fan speeds. Let me see if I can. Yeah, there we go. So they scroll down a little bit. So we've got error messages, we've got GPU mem temps exceeded, CPU temps exceeded, ASIC board temp exceeded, accepted share ratio, fan speeds. Those are all really, really good notifications to have, and now you don't have to jump through the extra steps of adding it to Telegram or any of the other weird options that we previously had. So kudos to kudos to HiveOS or a high five. Great job on this, guys. Definitely something worth setting up. All right, so last thing we're gonna do today is do the contest giveaway. So I believe we have about 88 different comments on this video with everybody's TPA. Hopefully everybody who has commented on here specifically is a subscriber, and if you're not a subscriber, we will unfortunately not do the giveaway, but this is for my farm's entire hash rate for 3 days straight is going to be the first prize winner. Second prize winner, we're going to give 300 Caspa, and then the last giveaway is going to be for Coastal Crypto's NFT. So let's go ahead and pull up the comment picker here. We've got the web page. All right, here we go. Drum roll. Who's going to be the lucky winner? Max R, congratulations, sir. Have 23 GPUs for a TPA score of 2500. Love your content so far. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you, Max R. I appreciate you. I sure hope that you are watching this video. Do me a favor. Either send me a direct message through our email, which is listed on the YouTube page, or you can find me in Discord if you're on Discord. What I'm going to need from you is your wallet address and what coin you want me to mine, and we'll get you set up for 3 days of the hash rate. So let's go ahead and pick the next winner, which is going to be for 300 Caspa. Here we go. Atakan, congratulations, sir. TPA score of 898. You are the winner. Same goes for you, sir. If you would, send me your wallet address for Caspa, and I'll be sure and get that 300 Caspa to you as soon as possible. And then lastly, we have the Coastal Crypto Mining giveaway for their NFT. And let's go ahead and pick the winner. Oz Sky King, congratulations, sir. You are going to need to have a MetaMask in order to receive this. Same goes for you. Please get in contact me at minesum10info@gmail.com, or you can find me in Discord, or perhaps just leave a comment on this video. I'll find you and we'll get it figured out. But guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. Thank you for being a part of this community. I love each and every one of you, and I will see you guys on the next one.